Hello, it's time for the top five, so let's go. First of all, we have to talk about Barcelona. Where to start? They played Leganés, bottom of the table, and it was a struggle. A result will tell you, and the table will tell you that Barcelona are fine, but they're not. I think everybody will admit that. There is a lot of really bad signs. For instance, Griezmann only got 3 passes from the forwards, from Messi, from Suarez, from Dembele. 3 passes he got, but he only gave 3 passes to them. There's a disconnection there that's very, very clear. And it has to do with the positioning of the team. They just don't know, and this is amazing for a club like Barcelona, a team like Barcelona. They just don't know where to place themselves in a way where they can find the link-ups that takes the ball to dangerous positions. So a lot of the time, the centre-backs delivered the ball long. Other times, they chose the wrong way to run with the ball. So you'll see the likes of Piqué running with the ball and trying to link up with inside channels where Messi was there, for instance, trying to find Griezmann perhaps as well. When the space was in the wide areas, strange that Piqué choose so wrongly in this occasion. A lot of the times as well, you will have the Barcelona players, the midfielders, all in a line. And nobody doing that thing that allows to create a space, absorbing pressure. You got the ball, you wait for the player to come to you, and then the space is somewhere else. None of that. The delivering of the ball was very simple. And again, the wide players, Dembele, Griezmann, didn't stay wide for long, came inside, but didn't do it in a way that allowed the fullbacks to use that space, because the fullbacks, they will be too deep, or they will be inside as well. So all in all, really wrong performance from Barcelona, who scored twice, of course. It's not a concern, but of course, 6 out of the last 7 goals that they've scored have been set pieces. I'm saying it's not a concern because at least they something that they don't train that much, set pieces, but at least they are converting them. But the worry is that in normal actions, they just don't create danger. What happens straight away is that if the ball doesn't get to Messi in good conditions, he sometimes disconnects as well. So all in all, Barcelona depend more than ever on individuals, and that's not the game. Other teams do that very well, not Barcelona. So Barcelona, who fans and commentators who look beyond the result most of the time. In this occasion, there was a universal agreement that Barcelona did not play well, and they need to sort this out because it seems to be a lack of energy throughout the side, even from the young, who is perhaps the only midfielder that does that thing that I'm telling you about of trying to absorb pressure, to give the pass at the right time instead of taking the ball away from him, passing the ball away from him, just without any reason or at the wrong time. So all that is happening with Barcelona, and I think the hope for them in their minds, I imagine, is that they can just go like, "Poop, it's the Champions League, we can do it." And yes, they've got it. Obviously, they will be in the next round, but it's what happens then. And if things don't get corrected, you will see similar results that you saw in previous years against the likes of Roma or Liverpool. Real Madrid, on the other hand, have improved. How did that happen? Well, first of all, Zinedine Zidane kept the calmness. Well, we were all criticizing Real Madrid, the lack of sharpness, admitted by the likes of Hazard, who says that he had to lose weight. They all had to get better physical condition, and they've got that. And when they've got that, the head is clearer. And when the head is clearer, better decisions get taken. And of course, people are braver because they know that they can do more efforts more often. So you've got a defensive line that is further up the pitch. There's not so much gaps between the defense and the midfield, something that we've seen in previous games, like against PSG, for instance. And the lines are closer together. When that happens, everything starts working because both offensively and defensively, there's more options to the man on the ball. There's more movement around him. Everybody wants the ball, and they know that sometimes they got it to the feet, and other times they got it in behind, but they offer that. Rodrigo doing well on the right-hand side. So is Hazard, who's improving. Of course, the midfield is an interesting battle here between who's going to be the three chosen. Casemiro's one, the other two. And you've got Kroos, who distributes the ball, shoots from outside the box and scores as well. He's sharp in his way of thinking. Modric, who's very quick in the first few meters and leaves players behind with his driving. And of course, can also get into the box and score. And Valverde, who seems to me the only one out of those three that is a guaranteed place in big games. But we will have to see if his form continues, because he covers so much ground, box to box, and a really intelligent player who also gets into the box and helps other teams when they lose, or the teammates when they lose the ball. So all that is happening for Real Madrid. Without the ball as well, they're shown to be even better on the pressure high. And when they don't pressure high, they go into a medium block that also works because everybody's alerted and everybody defends. So important in a team that everybody is involved in everything that happens on the pitch. Yet again, at Barcelona, that they struggle with that. The forwards sometimes don't get so involved in recovering the ball. At Real Madrid now, they're all doing it, which means that everybody should consider them, after the poor start, candidates for everything, which is a change of tune for myself from early weeks. But I had lost faith in this team, and we're seeing that they actually not only have got quality, but they're working as a team. Let's see if they can progress with that. Meanwhile, Bale was whistled. It was a good game, by the way, from Real Sociedad first, the first 35 minutes, but then from Real Madrid. If Real Madrid won, was because of the things they did, not so much from the things that Real Sociedad stopped doing. But then Bale came on and he was criticised just quickly, because we've spoken about this. He knew what he was doing with the banner. He knew the banner was there. It was a bit of fun, a bit of banter, but directed to the media. Of course, the media have won out by the whole thing, have just accelerated, increased the noise against Bale, and the fans have responded to that. So he was whistled in a way that I had never seen in the Santiago Bernabeu before. Never ever seen that. So what you get a reaction from Bale, because Bale, when he's upset, when he's got to prove a point, you get a better version of him. So keep booing him, because I think he will be part of the big games as well, if he continues with his form and injuries respect him. We need to mention three teams from La Liga that are doing well, have done well this weekend. One, Athletic Bilbao. They went to Osasuna, a team that had not lost at home in 601 days. That much. But it was a game that could have gone either way. You had an Athletic Bilbao that scored the first goal with Iñaki Williams, then conceded one in a set piece. But then eventually they just, perhaps when Osasuna were playing at the best, and having struggled a lot and fought a lot, because when you go to Sadar, you don't go to be happy, you just go to suffer. And Athletic Bilbao learned to do that mostly in the second half. And Kenan Kodro, who was a former Osasuna player, did not want to celebrate, scored the winning goal, which meant that Osasuna lost, but also is the first victory of Athletic Bilbao away. So that's good news for them. The other story from the weekend was that the fact that there were two Basque derbies, if you want to include Osasuna as a derby. And 2 days earlier, and I've got a photo that somebody took in the restaurant to prove it, the four managers of Eibar Alaves, who played, of course, and Alaves won away at Eibar, and Osasuna Athletic Bilbao won away, the four managers went for dinner, late lunch, in fact, 2 days before the game. That's the kind of feeling that you get at the Basque Country. They are friendly rivalries, and that's the proof of it. The four managers are also Basques, so it is wonderful to see. Just quickly on Celta, Oscar Garcia manages to get his first victory, and he did it in the way that he wanted to do it. I had spoken to the coaching staff during the week, and they were saying we want to be protagonists. We know that we may not be able to take the ball of Villarreal at Villarreal, a team that had not lost at home, but we will just continue doing our thing. And they did. Now we need to talk about Unai Emery, because you've been so gracious and generous with your comments. Few things from the comments. One, calm down, some of you, because I know that if somebody disagrees with you, you get really nervous and start accusing me or others that disagree with you of a lot of things. But I'm only put forward an opinion that's a little bit different to the rest. That's all. If you want to see ghosts in my words, if you think that they are directed from somewhere else, it's your own problem, because I'm just trying to put across a different point of view to the one that you hear in the most. And that has been a little bit what I've done all my career, trying to see things a little bit different. And you may agree or disagree. It's another point of view. I still think that Arsenal have got it in their capabilities to get victories that will get them away from the position they're in. But we will see. Because, of course, I don't see the future. But in any case, going back to this idea of trying to present a different point of view, which has created a really good response from you, and I appreciate that, and keep them coming, those comments, because I learn from what you're saying. Obviously, not only you watch Arsenal as much as I do, possibly much more than me, but in any case, you live and breathe Arsenal, which means that you are suffering right now and don't want to suffer. I understand that. But yet again, on the idea of putting another point of view across, I found out that, and I wrote this about Bale. Bale, in Spain, everybody is in the agreement unanimously that he's wrong. And in the old Jewish law, I know I'm getting away a little bit from Arsenal, but I'll come back. Basically, it said that if the juries in a tribunal, when they had a case presented to them, everybody was in agreement that the accused was guilty, they will release the person. They will release him, let him go. They will free him. Why? Because they thought that there will always have to be reasons for things. There always have to be other points of view. And then it will enrich the judgment. Think of that. Because right now, you all seem to be thinking the same and talking the same tune and being all very, very angry. And it's always good to hear others. And I think you are doing that anyway, as I insist on the comments. I saw the game against Southampton and it was disappointing. It was, in a way, the ending could have been converted into a positive, because they fought until the end and they managed to get a draw, but it was a draw against Southampton. And it was interesting, a little bit the change of tune of Unai Emery after the game, when he was actually saying that he understands that everybody should be upset, that they're not happy, that they have to improve on things, and they have to improve on a lot of things. We know that. Training is for that. He is somebody that reads well what happens in a game, and I know that sometimes the excess of substitutions, as Jamie Carragher pointed out in Monday Night Football, at halftime, about 32 compared to the 7, for instance, of Chelsea and City, suggests that he changes his mind a lot, and he does a lot of changes of formation. There are reasons behind everything that happens, of course, but sometimes it's also good, like a coach told me a long time ago, to let things brew. You know, in a paella, you have to let the rice just get to the right hardness, tenderness, before you actually stop the fire. You have to let the water absorb the rice, but you have to put the right amount of water. All the ingredients have to be right. And basically, Unai Emery will have to find that balance between the ideas that are in his head and putting them across to players, plus decisions that he makes. I insist, I trust that he would find the way, but we will see. Finally, something interesting is happening in Wembley on Friday, 5 p.m. We are presenting this book, Catching Hate Offside. And it is written by Salva Moya, held by Marce Arellano. It's interesting the way that this book, which is about racism in football, it was first written in Spanish and now is in English. Basically, he's gone to he's found the A to Z of racism and other forms of discrimination in football. Like you said, means A, B, C. He's gone, each one of them, each letter has got somebody telling a story related to racism, something that's happened to them, like Dani Alves, for instance, when he talks about his response when he got a racist attack, as is described here, when a banana was thrown into him, and how he responded. He just got it and bite it and ate it. That's what you do with bananas, and etc. Little me is included as well, because Salva felt that I represented a little bit the thinking, the British thinking in Spain, and I know that in England, in Britain, people have thought a lot about racism. There's more experience of it, and there's better responses than there are in Spain. And a Spanish person in England who also sees the difficulties that Spanish media in general have got to accept that we can be wrong, that we can be racist, that we are racist, and that we have to improve in not only regarding the race, but any other form of discriminations. We have to improve on that. We'll discuss all that on Friday. There are surprising guests, or surprise guests, big numbers of Spanish football and English football as well. So find out in my timeline how to get hold of a ticket if you want to come in, because it will be a good discussion taking place. It will be half in Spanish and half in English, but I will translate everything that's in Spanish. And also remember, as I mentioned in the past, my new podcast is about to come out. In it, you'll be hearing Rafa Benitez, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Georgie Cruyff, Santi Solari, and many more. It'll be a 6-episode drop, and I cannot wait to see what you think of it, because if you think that it's worth it to continue, then the next thing I'll do is just to find another 6 reasons to have another podcast ready for you. So that's about it. I'll leave it here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.